How's it going, everyone? My name's Clayton Houston. I'm here today with TYPHOON Defense, and we're going to do a complete disassembly and reassembly of an F12 Classic. So let's get started here. When you take your gun out of the box originally, this is exactly what it's going to look like. The heat shield won't be installed, and you'll have a chamber flag inserted into the gun. The chamber flag is for more than showing that the gun is empty. It's actually a tool for takedown. So with the chamber flag uninstalled, the bolt is actually engaged with the feed ramp. When you take apart the upper from the lower with the bolt forward, it'll actually cause damage to the feed ramp. So that is why we provide a chamber flag with the shotgun. It's to have it inserted and to not cause any damage to the feed ramp when you're disassembling the firearm. So let's get started with taking it down. First, you want to take down the takedown pins here. So block of wood is always a good thing to have on a workbench, and you're going to want to push these takedown pins through. These takedown pins are a little tighter than your standard AR-15. That's because this is a 12 gauge shotgun and we don't need them rattling loose. So you might need to use a punch with this shotgun to get the pins through. After that though, it comes apart really easy. I'm going to go ahead and set the lower aside here and continue on with the disassembly of the upper. So at this point, we're going to want to take off the handguard. So we've got a retention nut here that's holding the bracket in place. We've got the TYPHOON wrench provided with a star pattern in the middle, and that is what we're going to use to take off this retention nut. So go ahead and get it locked into the grooves, get it started, and then we can hand loosen the nut the rest of the way. Go ahead and take that off. Then we've got the bracket. You can go ahead and grab it on each side, pull that out, as well as the sling attachment. Now we're going to take this orange TYPHOON wrench provided and loosen the screws at the base of the handguard. This is just a second point of security from keeping your handguard snug. So go ahead and loosen those up, and then our handguard slides right off the shotgun. Now we've got to take off the gas block and the piston. So you just want to slide that off. You'll feel a little O-ring tension. No big deal. Just slide that off, and then go ahead and slide off the piston. Now we're going to work on getting the barrel out of the shotgun. So we can go ahead and we can remove our chamber flag. We'll need that later, so just set it aside. And it is time to take out the charging handle. So there is a little window right here, a hump at the top of the bolt, that we need the center of the charging handle to line up with to get out of the shotgun. So you can see right here, there's a little hump on the top of the bolt. That needs to be in line with the hump right here on top of the charging handle. Allows it to slide right out. Now we're going to take our TYPHOON wrench again. The larger side here is actually a wrench for this barrel nut. We're going to go ahead and use the wrench to get that started. We can use our fingers to take it down the rest of the way. Until it's no longer engaged. At this point, you can slide the barrel out of the upper. So now you've got your barrel assembly here. You want to press down on the carrier and allow you to remove the bolt. Then go ahead and move the carrier remove the spring, and remove the barrel nut. At this point, you're going to want to go ahead and clean your barrel and clean these gas points. These gas ports here are crucial to the consistent operation of your gun, so make sure they're clean. You can also take time and clean out the upper. The lower of this shotgun, taken down this far, I can go ahead and I can spray some cleaner in here and I can get it clean. We are not going to get into taking out the trigger, the hammer, and the lower parts of the receiver. If you want, we have a different video showing you how to do that. But for the sake of this is taken down far enough. We can clean it, spray some cleaner in there, get it clean, ready to go. We'll set it aside again and reassemble the upper. So, well, first thing we want to do is take the barrel. You're then going to take your barrel nut and slide it over the barrel. You're then going to want to slide the spring on. That is the correct way to do it. You'll notice there's one side that's smaller on this spring than the other. So this would be the incorrect way to do it. The spring needs to seat down against the barrel nut. So make sure that spring is pointed in the right direction. We can then take our carrier, go ahead and slide it over the barrel. Go ahead and with one hand holding that, we can get the bolt lined up. And get our barrel ready to go. At this point, we can take it and insert it back into the upper. You're then going to start hand tightening until you can't anymore and the wrench is required. So with the larger side, we are going to tighten that down, make sure it's nice and snug. And now we're ready to put the charging handle back in. So, like we said before, the hump here needs to line up in the middle of the bolt, and you can look in there and see when it's lined up. Just press ever so gently here, carrier, and you can go ahead and get your charging handle popped in. At this point, you want to grab your piston, slide on the piston, and now it's time for the gas block. Notice we've got two indications. One says light loads, one says heavy loads, and there's an arrow indicating the direction. You want that arrow pointed towards the receiver for it to be set that way. So right now I'll go ahead and set it on light loads by pointing the arrow towards the receiver and slide it on. Now it's time to put the handguard on. So we'll go ahead and slide the handguard on, get it seated down there, and now we're going to want to put the bracket and our sling attachment in there. Go ahead and start the bracket. And this simply goes on the underside here and clamshells in. So at this point we have two options. One, we could reinstall the fore-end nut that we have that came installed with the shotgun, or we can install the heat shield. If you want the low profile nut, simply put it over the barrel and thread it down. Tighten it up with the middle of this wrench. If you want to install the heat shield, this is how you do it. Our intended look was not the heat shield to be used without this extended choke. And with the thread side down here, slide that over the barrel. Thread that on until it's nice and snug. Now we want to take these take the wrench, tighten up these screws at the base of the handguard for our second point of security. So at this point, we're ready to put the upper back onto the lower. So to avoid damage to our feed ramp, we're going to want to install the chamber flag. Once the chamber flag is installed, simply take the shotgun and press your pins back down. If the pin is a bit tight, you can take a hammer or a punch and simply tap it into place. And at that point, our shotgun is completely reassembled and it is ready for your next range trip.